welcome to We're Up Next. I'm one of the co-hosts, Johnny Hill, and I got my man.
Andre Lacey, my co-host with the most.
Yes, I am. And
Yes,
we
sir.
got my boy here, our boy here, the
Yeah.
man, the myth. He's a future legend. This man, anything about the Pistons he know about. He's a writer for Clutch Point, and me and him did sports rap radio together. My man, Eric Vincent. Welcome to the
Yee.
show, man.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a real honor. My NABJ brothers, Andre, Johnny, I appreciate y'all, man. It's going to be a good time.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
how
sir.
can I forget about that? Our NABJ brother,
Oh
man.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, let's dive deep into it, man. First of all, man, always happy to chop it up with you. Always happy to do work with you anyway. You know, it's always love, man. At the end of the day,
For sure.
E, I always wonder, bro. We never had the opportunity. We had a lot of conversations, right? We chopped it up a lot, but who really, right, inspired you, man? Because you're a writer. You as a journalist, a broadcaster, who inspired you and who really got you into being a journalist?
Man, it's a lot of inspiration that comes with Detroit sports. So, waking up as a kid in middle school, elementary school, a lot of my idols, guys like Rob Parker, who we all know. Shout out to Rob. Guys like Drew Sharp, Vincent Goodwill, a lot of the black writers that represented the Detroit media circuit did a lot for me. Rochelle Riley, like a lot of people, even if they weren't inside of sports, like they were able to touch the community with their words and their writing in ways that made me feel like this is something that I really should be doing. Like this is something that I can be doing. And it always got a good start to my day, getting ready to go to school, popping open, the newspaper. I feel old at this point. I don't know if people still read newspapers, but, popping open the newspaper, reading a recap of the Pistons game or the Lions game, reading an opinion column from Rob, talking about the game, talking about, quotes from the coaches, other things. And it gave that connection that showed that basically bridged the gap between athletes and the fans. And, basically the game has changed a lot now, but I love so much of how people like that, those journalists back then, and even right now, were able to connect with the people and tell such a great story with their words. And, all I ever wanted to do was make them proud, man. So I got a lot of inspiration learning from people like that. Rob being my mentor for years. Again, I just want to make those people proud and, look at their work and look at mine to see, that something that they can take pride in.
For sure, man, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I have to ask you this, as a Detroit native, what has been one of the most enjoyable parts of your career so far?
Ooh, man, one of the most enjoyable parts of my career. Um, I, I honestly kind of want to say I'm in it now, man. I write for Clutch Points. I'm an exclusive beat reporter for them with the Detroit Pistons. I just got credentialed to cover their home games and practices back from last season. And so this is my first full season with them, and being able to build the relationships, within the NBA franchise, being able to, go to the shoot arounds before the game, see players, see athletes, getting their pregame routines. And then even before that, like we have a little media room where we eat, and a lot of media members from around the country kind of, meet and gather there. And so I've seen guys like, like Walt Frazier. I've seen Dominique Wilkins walking by, and like even the OG legends like Greg Kelser, like George Blaha, like just walking and seeing those guys and seeing and knowing that I'm in that room now, it's really just it's hard to explain, man. Because I just talked to my friend about being in the moment, and I feel like this is that for me right now. Like I've worked so hard to get to this point. I've gotten a lot of denials. There's been a lot of objections. There's been a lot of trials and tribulations. So when you finally get to these kind of points of your career, you got to soak it in and be appreciative, man. So I feel like at this point now, or maybe a few years ago when I used to work and cover the Lions, interviewing players, I got to interview Calvin Johnson one time, standing up next to Megatron. It's like those kind of moments I don't take light at all, man. And, being able to connect with those kind of figures just means so much to me.
Man, let's talk about it. Detroit sports is on the rise, man, and they really are here, man. You have seen a lot of the good and the bad, man. From let's talk about the Pistons, the championships to the down years, especially last year was not a bad year. The rising of the Lions, man, when they have been terrible for years, but these past couple of seasons, they really look like a championship contender, and we know what the Detroit Tigers have done this year, especially with going on to the playoffs and different things like that. But man, how does it feel as a Detroit native, right, to see the growth of the sports, go through the good and the bad, but be in the mix? How does it feel?
It's unbelievable, bro. It really is. Like I said, the connection that this community has with its sports teams, like you said, the Tigers, the Red Wings, the Pistons, the Lions, the collegiate team, like the connection that people have to that, it means so much. And seeing the Lions from where they were and where they've grown and come to now as a championship contender, even though they're dealing with all these injuries and all these curses or whatever they're dealing with is killing me right now. But it means so much to see that they finally did it, because there's no loyalty in sports that top Detroit sports loyalty. It just doesn't. Like you said, the Lions going from an 0-16 franchise when I think it was what 08, 09, I want to say.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just getting out of high school at this point. So going from 0-16, I remember even before that where the Lions was terrible and like fans weren't coming and they were missing on the draft. There was a game where they played against the Cincinnati Bengals where every team wore orange at the Silverdome because they were playing against the Bengals, and they were so tired of their ownership, they wore the colors of the opposite team to protest the front office. So now, seeing that we're in a position where we salute a tremendous leader in a guy like Brad Holmes, a black man who's doing an amazing job, as the cornerstone of the franchise front office. Dan Campbell is a leader, finding pieces that work for the Lions, and to now see them in a successful trajectory that we can be proud of. It's nothing like it, man. And the Pistons, like, great. I love what the Tigers are doing. I don't really cover them too much. I'm not super connected to the Tigers and the Red Wings like I am the Lions and the Pistons. The Pistons also kind of, touches a different place, because for me, I'm still learning. I've been in the game about 10, 12 years, but I'm still learning. And now that I'm in a place now, starting back to last year where I was at the bottom level, kind of trying to learn as a journalist, the Pistons were doing the same thing. They were a young team learning what it means to establish being a winning culture. So it's like kind of my like little weird way of connecting what our timelines are like, but that's really how I see it. Like, we all in this together. We all trying to make the best product, and we all trying to represent the Detroit sports community to the best of our ability, man. So to see it finally come to a place where, everybody is celebrating. I've been trying to, scalp around some tickets to maybe see if the Lions will get to the Super Bowl in New Orleans so I could be down there. It's just a different type of excitement and energy, man. And I'm so proud to say that, not just my generation, but my father's generation, people before that, we all get to enjoy it together because we all know where it came from. And to finally get there it's so amazing. It really is.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, come on now. I mean, that's really big. I mean, you get to cover something that many people dream of. So I get it. I'm right there with you. I must ask you though, what do you believe motivates you each day in this ever-changing industry? Because as journalists, we're storytellers and we cover a lot of different things, but it's also changing and there's been a shift. And you know this from personal experience with opportunities that have come and gone. What do you think motivates you each day?
That's a really good question. I think what motivates me, because to be honest with you, I was kind of out of sports journalism for a while. Like, I was in radio, kind of took a few years off, and then I kind of got back into it around 2021. What inspired me to want to write again and get on camera and, be in the content creator and journalism space is the lack of authenticity that comes with the representation of Detroit sports. If you watch ESPN, and granted, I ain't got no smoke with ESPN or any of the nationals, they cover what they need to cover. They all got numbers and things to meet. I get that. But it's a lot of representation where they kind of treat Detroit like the stepbrother of the sports world. And I hate that. It drives me crazy because they'll be able to say things that are not true about players or the team and how they perform. And people can just say, oh, it's right, it's fine because it's just Detroit. Who cares? I hate that. I can't stand that in any way, shape, or form. So what I've always wanted to do was give a product that the people who have helped build this franchise and this community, something that they can be proud of, something that they can turn on YouTube and watch and say, you know what? ESPN may not got it, but Eric Vincent or these guys here, these women here, they know what they're talking about. And this is something that I want to invest in because that's what the people want. Of course, we want national acknowledgement. Do we want that respect that, teams like, the Patriots used to get, or the Chiefs get, or the Celtics get, the Lakers, like, even when those teams are bad, they're still like worship to an extent. So we don't want to be worshiped. We just want the respect and the honesty and the integrity that comes with how you talk about what we stand for here. So that's what I want more than anything. I want that. I want my heroes above me and, that came before me to say, hey, his work is good enough where he could have been hanging with us. That's something I think about in my head all the time. I want to make my family proud. I want to make the Detroit sports community proud. Just seeing those kind of these kind of representations and these kind of narratives that are always thrown about Detroit sports, it just means I got to work that much harder because that cannot and will not be the end all. I won't allow it. And I'm hoping the Detroit sports community know that about my work when they tap in.
That's real, man. And one thing about it, when hearing you speak, E, I heard passion, the love that you have for your city, man. And that is something I respect, man. I honestly do. Because, bro, I seen the work you put in. I seen the ideas that you had, the ideas that you keep going with, man. I respect every work, every write, every time you put that pen to paper or you type it up. I respect you so much, bro, because I know a hard worker knows a hard worker, bro. And that is you. And for that, man, that's why we wanted you to come on the show. Because you're up next, bro. You are. And your time is coming. I can't wait to see where you're going. And you up next, man. But now that I gave you your flowers, bro, let's get into this question right here. Okay. We talked about the Lions, Detroit sports as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
There have been some other injuries going on with the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all lost Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Do they win? Do they hold the Lombardi this year? I need to know. The people need to know.
I want to believe everything that Dan Campbell is selling me. He just talked on 97, won the ticket. He said, hey, we're not going to be able to be undefeated. We're still in a good place. Everything is fine. I got to see it to believe it, man. Again, they were able to skirt around and beat some regular season teams in the regular season, regardless of the injuries that they were dealing with. But since Aiden Hutchinson went down in that the Dallas game, it seemed like they losing 2, 3, 4 bodies a week. That's not normal, bro. So
and Dave Montgomery out for the season.
David Montgomery out for the season now. And they keep reporting this hope of, if they get to the Super Bowl, they'll come back. If they get to, man, I ain't trying to hear that, bro. Don't rush these dudes and don't put that kind of expectation on them. That I just don't think that's right to rush into it. So to me, I kind of have a hard time believing it as of right now, just because it's so much. They're not even on their second string guys. They've lost first string and second string dudes. They legit have 12 bodies gone that are not coming back. I mean, done for the season. The whole approach for the Lions when Aiden Hutchinson went down was, we got to do it for Hutch. We got to do it for Hutch. That was their mantra, and it was working for a while. But, bro, now you got to do it for the 11 other dudes that's hurt too.
For Montgomery.
Bro, and then Montgomery too on top of that. Taylor Decker been out on the offensive line. Bro, it's too much. And right now, to be losing that kind of momentum, to be losing that kind of health at this point during the season, granted, they clinched, they're still going to the playoffs, but they were trying to wrap up and be that number one seed in the NFC. The Eagles haven't been losing. They're still playing really well. Minnesota's playing really well. They got a tough uphill battle to climb, man. To answer your question directly, I don't see it right now. Like, I really don't. But these injuries are just way too much. Granted, I still think they're playing good football considering the circumstances. But by the time you get to the playoffs, it's going to be hard to put money against them if they limping in with their third stringers and practice squad guys that you had to call last second. Like, I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't see it right now. But I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. We'll see what happens.
Sure, for sure. You can tell that Eric is really passionate about this. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to recognize
yeah.
For real.
It's right here, man. It's in my soul, bro. It's a lot. There's a lot that comes with being a Detroit sports supporter, man. It really does.
Facts. As we get ready to wrap, I do have this major question for you, and I think about it if you need to, because most of our guests do. Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? What do you think?
Man, 10 years from now.
Or where would you like to see yourself 10 years from now?
I would like to be, I still want to remain in the forefront of my community. A lot of people, and there's no shade to anybody that has this dream. I know a lot of people is like, you know, their Mount Everest, you know, their mountain peak goal is like ESPN or the NFL Network or like one of those big national markets. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that at all. For me, I don't need to be rich or like famous to feel fulfilled. I don't need that. I want the respect more than anything. I want the respect of those who care about the integrity of what we're trying to put in here. And I spoke a lot about not just like the people who stood in before me, but the people who are, you know, coming up behind me as well, too. Like, I love helping the next generation up. Like, you know, Johnny just showed, you know, we're next up. To me, and I get this from Rob Parker, and I think a lot of other people do too, your journey can't stop with you. I feel like you're not doing enough if it stops with you. If you're not helping usher in the next generation, if you're not talking to the next folks who are looking up to you as, you know, one of their, you know, admirers, the people that they want to, you know, work like and be like, then you're not doing enough. I'll never forget Rob Parker, my junior year of high school, when I'm writing a story about Detroit sports from my high school paper, and they told us, hey, get a quote from somebody that doesn't work in this school. Get them from somebody else. I'm like, all right, cool. Love Rob. Let me see if he emails you back. At this point, email just started to launch. I'm older. Y'all probably don't know. Let me be an old head for a second. So I emailed him, and I'm like, yo, I just need a quote, you know, about Detroit sports. What you think? Can you help me? I didn't think he was going to respond, bro. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll figure it out. Hits me back in an hour. And I'm like, oh, snap. This is real. This is real. Like, okay. So I get it. I'm talking to him. I'm putting the words in. I appreciate it. Yo, if you need anything, cool. Hit me up. No problem. Years later, our conversations keep picking up. I see him on social media. I see him in person at Comerica, and things just pick up. In 10 years, I want to help be one of the orchestrators that keeps this business and this industry alive. It's so much changing. I mean, we just talked about it before we started recording. It's so much that changes. There's a lot of things that are so unpredictable. But even with that being the case, I want to be able to go to sleep knowing that I did as much as I could to help keep this industry alive and help somebody else's dream keep going as well. It can't just stop with me. I'm okay with, you know, just being an anchor at like a local area. Like, I would love to be, you know, the forefront of like a local 4 or, you know, one of our local news stations or, you know, newspaper outlets, whoever it is. I would love to be at the forefront of that. I don't want to have to go to LA or, you know, the major market. That's not my dream. I wouldn't say no, but that's not my dream. If I had a choice for the next 10 years, I want to help keep laying down the groundwork of what it means to keep integrity in this business and basically help keep redefining work to keep your dreams going, because it's a lot of work that comes with it. And I don't want to see it stop at this point. You know, sports is too important. Too many people live behind it. And knowing the passion that's behind it for the fans, the people who put in this kind of work, man, I want to keep it going forever and ever and ever. I want to be a part of that legacy as long as I live. That's what drives me, and that's what's most important to me.
Man. And for that, Eric Vincent, you're up next, man. And again, you're my brother, man. We we were doing sports rap radio, sadly work out.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I would love to, I always say, man, one of the hardest workers I know, man. Always a thinker, always thinking about how to make something better. Always trying to be the best you can be. And really, one thing I also love, especially about you and Teron,
shout out to Ryan, man.
Yeah, shout out to my brother, man. Y'all love being from Detroit.
Yes.
Y'all love being from here. And I love that. You know what I'm saying? Me as someone who from Mississippi, you know, I forever don't want me and Andre had combos about this. I don't forever want to work in Mississippi, but I am proud of where I came from. I'm proud of the community that made me the work I am. I'm proud of that. And I love seeing individuals like yourself who is proud where you come from and can go there anytime, because not everybody can go back where they from. But y'all
That's a fact.
Love where y'all from. Y'all honor where y'all from, and y'all want to put that on the map. And for that, giving you all your flowers, man. Respect.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Y'all are great too, man. Seriously. Everybody got that drive, man, and you see it. Everybody sees, like, a lot of people talk about wanting to be great. A lot of people talk about wanting to be in this level, but you get tested a lot. And the fact that we all have been tested, we've all spoken about it, we all know our background and where we come from, that's where the real proof is on if you really want to be here or not. And, you know, your ground roots, to where you came from, the people who, you know, help, you know, breathe this love inside of you, you know, that's going to have to be the dog in you that keeps this train moving. And, you know, I don't ever want to let those people down. I don't want to let people like y'all down. I want people to know that this is real. This dream can happen. You deserve to be here, and you can make a huge impact depending on where it comes from or how it comes. You know, this is real, and we can all be at the forefront of making it happen, man. So this was really cool, bro. I really appreciate y'all letting me get on and talk a little bit about this with y'all. This means a lot.
Yeah, yes, for sure.
Sir. Ready to wrap it on up, twin?
Hey, after you, my brother.
Well, E, again, thank you for joining us. This is one passionate guy right here. He's going places. Y'all check in with him. E, keep shining, man. You're up next. We gotta mention your YouTube channel, Top Title Entertainment.
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
Man, and it's really something to look at, man. Anything and everything, man. You do everything from WWE to basketball, football, also rap. I love it, man. I love hip hop, and
yes, sir.
And how can we also not mention, twin? This man is a legend, man. For everybody out there, we mentioned that he do stuff with Clutch Point in the beginning. He does amazing work. Anything Detroit Pistons, look at my man Eric Vincent, and he's up next. We're gonna put it all in the description box and how to follow him and different things. Tune into him. He's up next, and of course, you always know me and Twin. We're up next.
Yes, sir.